Hi everyone, so this tutorial is how to make flowers out of oven bake clay. So the clay that I use is the Sculpey brand, and I got like a baby pink, baby blue, and a lavender color for this project that I did for my Halloween costume. But it's an actually really easy and fun way to make these flowers out of clay, and they can be used for any other arts and craft project that may require flowers. But they give a really cool,
So first
realistic
we're going
look
to
to them.
start by taking
So
a small
I am
piece of
going
clay
to show
and
you how
really
to make your own
pressing it
flowers. To make a thin enough layer of clay to be able to fold it and give it some wave to resemble a petal, but not thin enough to where you can start to see through it. So you don't want to break through the clay, but thin enough to kind of give it a ripple effect. And then we're just going to do that for each piece. To resemble about the size of a real life petal, depending on how big you want your flowers. And then we're just going to start to assemble a flower shape by pressing gently on the bottom of the petal like you can see here, and kind of overlapping like how a real flower would also do. So all you do is you continue this step until you shape the flower, which is all kind of going to depend on how big the flower or how big of a flower you are making. If you make smaller flowers, obviously you're not going to need so many petals. And also you're not going to need to make the petal as big either. So see here, I kind of ripped through the petal, so I made it way too thin. So I kind of cemented it back and then made it a little thicker in those areas because you don't want to be able to see through it. But this is basically all you do until you're done. You can alternate different colors. You can make all the same color. It's completely up to you, but you just use this exact same technique depending on whatever size you want. And you just always alternate the patterns until it starts to shape a flower form. Once you've constructed the flower, now I'm just taking a contrasting color to create the flower pistils, and I'm just taking a little bit piece of clay and rolling it into a tiny little ball, and then just sticking it there in the middle. Make sure you press firmly into the clay, not enough to smush it, but enough for it to actually stick. Because once you bake the clay, if it's not at least kind of stuck on the clay, it will just fall off once it's hard. So just make sure that you press just firmly enough to cement it onto the clay. Now for the smaller flowers, we are just using the same technique to flatten out a piece of clay, kind of to add some roundness to it, and then we're just going to pinch it in the middle to make it look like a little flower and add a little flower pistil with a contrasting color again, and that's pretty much it. So these are really easy and a great choice to make for fillers, or if you just want more delicacy to whatever it is that you're using these flowers for, because the small flowers just add more of a delicate touch overall. Now that you've finished all the flowers, now it's just time to bake them in the oven. So I just placed everything that I made out of clay on a baking sheet or an oven pan, whatever you have. And I baked it for 275 degrees for 15 minutes per 1/4 of an inch. I had multiple sizes on this pan, so I just did 30 minutes total, and it was enough time for them to harden. So just kind of play it by ear. If you need more time, leave it in longer, and if not, then it's ready to be taken out. But you want to make sure not to over bake your clay, so keep that in mind.